A government-funded program for graduates will offer up to 800 traineeship spots in private and public sectors. Lasting 3 to 6 months, trainees will receive a monthly allowance between $1,800 and $2,400. Applications open in October. Manpower Minister Tan See Leng says there can be more support if the labour market worsens. Nadirah Zaidi with more.
1 year after the pandemic struck, Shainda Abdul Halil graduated with a marketing diploma, stepping into a tough job market. She joined a JP Morgan Chase apprenticeship program despite having no background in business. Today, she holds a full-time role at the same company.
The traineeship definitely gave me real-life exposure to things that I would not be able to get outside. So I was working on building executive materials, doing regional engagement, managing stakeholder communications.
The Manpower Ministry says the new Graduate Industry Traineeships program is to help graduates gain industry experience and practical skills. This will support them in exploring various career options and strengthening their employability. In addition, the public sector is offering about 2,400 immediate vacancies for fresh graduates in roles such as data, tech and digital services.
While we understand the angst and we feel the apprehension of fresh graduates, especially the young graduates who have just graduated, as well as their families. We are making sure that whatever traineeships that we are putting out there will not end up inadvertently cannibalizing the ability for them to land on full-time jobs.
Safeguards are also in place.
We have been very careful in terms of sizing it, and if you look at the scope, we don't want it to cannibalize the more mature employees within. So companies must not have retrenchment plans in place so that they can then use this as a cheap source of labor. And we will be very strict in terms of how we dispense and disperse these monies.
The government will co-fund 70% of the allowance, while the host organisation will fund the remainder. OCBC is one such participant. It plans to welcome more than 100 tertiary graduates across functions such as consumer and wholesale banking and technology and operations.
I think what we are looking for specifically are people who have critical thinking and problem solving. In this day and age of AI, the communication and being able to interact and work with stakeholders is extremely important.
Other companies like Grab, Micron and ST Engineering are also on board. A similar program was launched in 2020. From June 2020 till March 2022, Workforce Singapore says more than 12,500 trainees benefited from the SG United Traineeship program. Close to 9 in 10 found full-time employment within 6 months of traineeship. The traineeship period for that program was up to 12 months.
And for more on the traineeships, we are joined by Jaya Das. She's Managing Director of Randstad APAC. Ms. Das, welcome to Singapore tonight. So we are looking at 800 traineeships on offer. Is this scale sufficient to make a meaningful impact for fresh graduates entering today's very competitive job market?
I'd say 800 roles won't solve the challenge for all graduates, but it's definitely a very meaningful step in the right direction. What matters most is not the number, but the signal it sends, that companies and the government are investing in fresh talent even in uncertain times. For the individuals who secure these placements, it could be life-changing. And if this program builds the momentum that it intends to, it can encourage more employers to come forward and expand the opportunities over time.
So, as you said, it is a step in the right direction, but explain to us what makes a structured traineeship like GRIT different from an internship, and what value or unique value can fresh graduates get from it?
Unlike a short internship, a structured traineeship is designed with clear objectives, mentorship, and typically training pathways. It's not just about work exposure, it's about equipping graduates with the practical skills, industry experience and the professional networks that they will carry with them into their first permanent role. The structure makes the difference with defined outcomes, real responsibilities, and a progression plan.
And for the host companies themselves, how do we ensure that they do not end up using these traineeships as a source for cheap labor?
It's a great question and definitely one to consider. I think safeguards are crucial. Companies need to commit to providing mentorship, training, and measurable outcomes, not just tasks. I think this is the critical difference. There should be monitoring and feedback mechanisms so trainees can share their experience as if it's a real-life full-time work experience. Ultimately, the success of the program depends on quality over quantity. Companies must see this as an investment in the future talent and not a stopgap solution for short-term manpower.
Do you think a traineeship like this can realistically lead to full-time work, and or what sectors are best positioned to benefit from such a program?
I think 3 to 6 months may sound short, but it's a real time space to build confidence for people. And I think if you can think of it from a perspective of what they're getting in a professional setting, understanding how the industry workflows, pick up digital and analytical skills, they will develop softer skills like teamwork and communication and problem solving. That most undergraduates sort of underestimate on how valuable these first work habits are and how they are a launchpad for career. In terms of industries, I think it stretches into a wide area. You can look at jobs within the advanced manufacturing, healthcare, and it also supports graduates across various sectors and how they will grow depending on how the demand also comes in.
In terms of training, mentorship or performance evaluation, Ms. Das, what are some structures that you think should be put in place to ensure that both employers and graduates can benefit from this scheme?
Yes, it's absolutely necessary to lead to full-time work from both sides and treat it like a long-term relationship. Sectors such as tech, healthcare, logistics, and financial services, where talent pipeline is always in demand, stand to benefit most. And even if it doesn't immediately convert into a permanent job in the host company, the trainee leaves with skills and experience that makes them more competitive in the wider job market in the long run, which is the intent behind the program.
You mentioned earlier that it is a very short timeline. We're looking at 3 to 6 months traineeship. What do you think are some of the valuable skills and experiences that trainees can realistically gain?
I think, first of all, it offers a structured curriculum and a skills framework that they will be able to take away from it. I think they will get mentorship, which is guidance from a manager or a senior colleague, and it's not just about supervision. But they will also get a sense check of what a long-term play would look like if they have clear milestones which are set and progress is tracked as well. So some of these are the clear indications of what the early benefits would be. But also there's a possibility that these individuals could actually go into longer-term employment with the same companies if the opportunity permits and the market course corrects. So the organization starts to look at what these advantages might be to keep the employees on permanently.
All right, Ms. Das, thank you so much for speaking with us tonight. That was Jaya Das, Managing Director of Randstad APAC.